By looking for love, you have to risk losing it. And it's one of the hardest things ever. It sucks when you go through a breakup. There's 8 billion hearts in the world, and you found one that didn't beat for you. I remember after some really bad breakups I'd been through, I felt like a ghost inside my body. Like I wasn't actually living there. It was this weird, dissociated feeling of misery and sadness. And you go through phases of anxiety, depression. There's so much that hits you. We've even observed brain scans of people experiencing emotional pain, and we've seen that it's just as bad or can be even worse sometimes than physical pain. Sometimes I feel like I'd rather take a broken bone than a broken heart. And when you go through it, it's like nothing you've experienced before. So today we're going to talk about 6 steps to help you work through those nasty breakups. The first step is to experience the shock. Right when it happens, that can be the worst part of all of this. It's like you're just feeling like you're dying and rotting from the inside out. It's really, really uncomfortable, but a lot of times people try to either get back together or fight for it, or they're looking for something to occupy their time 100% of the time. That's tricky here because obviously you want to take your mind off of it, but the more you take your mind off of it, you're not actually processing the shock and experiencing the emotions as you go through them. Now, I'm not saying you should totally isolate and sit there and just feel like you hate yourself and be miserable the whole time, but you should really, really sit with it from time to time and experience that. Sit with the discomfort and understand what went wrong. Become aware of your feelings and take it one day at a time. I went through a really intense breakup one time, and I remember the initial shock was so jarring to me, but in hindsight, it was really helpful that I kind of spent that time alone in the beginning to really gather my thoughts and understand what exactly was happening here and how can my brain make sense of everything. And I didn't spend 100% of my time completely isolated and alone, but it really did help me in that beginning stage to just kind of step away from life for a little bit and gather my thoughts and feel all the pain up front so I didn't drag it out over such a long period of time and kind of dwell on it. This leads into step 2, which is to reach out to your loved ones. I can't tell you how much of a difference it makes having friends and family, relatives, people who are role models that you look up to, who support you, to reach out to them. Like, it makes such a huge difference to talk to these people. So much of you wants to just crawl in bed and be this ball that's like, I want to die, I want to feel nothing, I'm so upset, I'm miserable, the world sucks, I'm the problem. And you're just getting in your head from doing too much of the isolating and experiencing that shock. So a way you can dissipate some of that and spread it out a little bit within yourself is to reach out to those loved ones. Talk to your mom, talk to your dad, talk to your uncle or grandmother or caregiver, talk to a close friend, someone you can truly confide in. And if you don't specifically have someone you can do that with, I highly, highly recommend therapy. I saw 2 different therapists after a really, really bad breakup a while back, and it was one of the most game-changing things for everything. And I actually want to make a full separate video on that because I don't want to spoil anything, but it was a famous psychologist, and it was actually a really crazy experience, but it helped a lot. It really made the biggest difference and gave me so much support through the really rough times. So I would say that would be a really helpful thing for you to do after initially experiencing that shock by yourself. The next thing you should do is forgive yourself. This is a really hard one because self-acceptance is critically important, but it's also exceptionally difficult sometimes. We love to put blame on ourselves and self-sabotage. We love to think that, oh, I'll never find love again and I'll never be loved again. And how can I ever get something even half as good? There's nothing else like this. And we built so many memories together. And one of the hardest parts also amongst all of this is the idea that this person was once such a crucial part of your day-to-day living. This was someone you're calling all the time, you're texting regularly, you're laughing, you're laying together, you have such intimate moments with this person day in and day out. Now they're just a stranger in your life. They're just a figure in your past that you're never going to see again, potentially. So this is where it's so important that if you can try to forgive the other person. Some things may not be forgivable, up to you, but really honestly forgive yourself. We all make mistakes. We're all human. There's so many times that I've messed up and said something stupid. I've completely hurt someone's feeling. I pissed someone off or disrupted the family dynamic because of ABC, XYZ. I've done it all. I've made so many stupid mistakes. And these errors happen to everyone. We all make stupid mistakes. We all say dumb things and get upset and angry and feel all the things. So you have to forgive yourself, because what happens is when we go through these traumatic events and experience these really tough feelings, you're going to throw an emotional anchor over your shoulder. This anchor follows you everywhere you go. And as you experience more trauma, more crap, more hardships, more breakups and everything, you have more anchors over your shoulders. And if you don't resolve those things, if you don't deal with them, the anchors get heavier and heavier, and there's more of them over your shoulders. So the quicker you can process all of that and let go of those emotional anchors as you forgive yourself with grace, the sooner you can lighten that load on your shoulders. Step 4 is to take on new hobbies and pour into the things you like. This is where you reinvent yourself and kind of go back to your roots. So for me, I love guitar, I love skateboarding, I love video games, I love reading, I love travel. So I tried my best to do all of those things, but even though I felt like crap and I didn't want to do those things, I still forced myself to go do them. It was really difficult because I'm like, hey, I love martial arts or working out, but I don't want to go. That's the last thing I want to do right now. But I would force myself no matter what. I would get in the car, I would drive over to the gym, and I'd punch on the bag for as long as I could until I was physically completely just worn out. I would go lift weights, I would go skateboard, I would play my guitar until my fingers literally hurt. I couldn't play anymore. I would read and read and read. It's part distracting yourself, but also you're past that phase now, hopefully, where you're really pouring into yourself. You're not dwelling over the negative emotion and investing into this person's energy anymore. You're pouring into you, in your cup. You're looking at the things that interest you the most. And I got to a point after one of my breakups where I just became a yes man. I was just like, anything and everything. I want to go do that thing that I've always said no to. I want to go try that trip. I want to travel to this really cool place and experience this fun excursion that I've been thinking about, or check off this bucket list thing. And even if you don't have money to do those things, or time or effort or whatever, just say yes to things. Like friends invite you out to come eat. Someone says, hey, do you want to do this thing? Like, just by saying yes all the time, I found this strangely liberating experience coming upon me where I was like, wow, every time I'm saying yes to these things, I feel like I'm kind of renewing myself and just getting out into the world. And even though I wasn't ready for dating or talking to new people in an intimate romantic sense, it really helped reframe my mind to say, hey, you know what? There's actually so much more to life than just this little bubble that I'm experiencing, this little thing that I'm dealing with right now. And the more experiences you can build, the more memories you create that help support you during this crazy time. So I would say that was a hugely helpful thing for me that really helped me move through the breakup. And it can get you back to that space of psychological safety. Step number 5 is to look at the various lanes in your life and create plans to help develop them. Okay, so what I mean by this is you break your life into these different lanes. Now you can write this down on a piece of paper, you can put it on a poster board, do it on a computer, whatever's best for you. But for me, it was helpful to write it down. And what I did is I took a piece of paper and I wrote down these different buckets. I said there's a professional bucket / finances. There's a physical health, a mental health, there's a friends, a family, and then the relationship bucket. But I kind of put an X through that because I'm like, I'm not dealing with that right now. That's kind of off the grid. That bucket's empty right now. So I would look at all these lanes in my life and say, okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would I rate my life in my career and finance bucket? I'd give myself a rating. And then you jot down some info on why you gave it that rating. Is it what you expect, what you would like it to be right now? Is it better or is it worse? Why? Start asking yourself questions and go through. Then you go to the next one. Okay, physical health. Okay, I'm thinking I'm this number and I'm thinking I'm kind of not where I need to be. Well, why? Okay, I haven't been working out. I haven't been eating well. I haven't been sleeping well. I haven't been moving my body, stretching, strengthening, any of the things I should be doing. So yeah, that could use a little work. So you go through every bucket of your life and you really look at it, giving it that rating, giving it the above, below, or meeting your expectations. And then kind of that why statement on what exactly caused this to be like that. Take it to the actions, right? The thoughts that led to those behaviors that put you in that spot, in that specific bucket. Then what you're going to do is create a little plan for each of those. Okay, so my career bucket is doing not so good. Well, why? Here's the reason. Here's some things I can do. Here's some people I can reach out to. Here's some things I can work on at my job to kind of push me that much further. Okay, physical health. Here's some reasons why I'm not where I want to be. And here's some steps that I can take, like going to the gym, eating better. I have that one friend that's a certified, nutritionist, all the things. And then maybe some of them are really good. Like my family and friends buckets are actually awesome right now. I have the best friends I could ever ask for. My family's super healthy and happy. I got great caregivers, role models in my life. There's so many people I can lean on. So the action to take would just be keep doing whatever you're doing. Maintain those relationships and pour into that. That will be so helpful for you in this entire process. The sixth and final step is to reflect and learn from your mistakes as you move forward with your life. This was a huge one for me, and it really helped reframe the psychological lens that I was looking at my life with. So this step brought a lot of clarity, and I think that was the key word for me on this part, where you're reflecting on the past and trying to learn, like, what did I do wrong objectively as you can be? What were some things that I could have done better? What were some things that I messed up? Were there any things that I said or did, or maybe didn't do or didn't say, that could have caused me to not like this person anymore, or that person to not like me anymore? Where could that have kind of started the destruction of the relationship? And then on the flip side, what did the other person do to upset you? What did they say? What things happened? What memories occurred that helped shape your perception of that person over time? Sometimes they mess up. Sometimes you mess up. Sometimes they do a whole lot of things wrong, and sometimes you do a whole lot of things wrong. Every relationship is different, and you have to look at it from an objective lens a little bit to say, what can I learn from this? Because you don't want it to happen again, right? That heartbreak was so devastating that our brains want to protect us from that. So if we don't learn from it, our brain is going to create habits and patterns to help us avoid heartbreak at all costs. You could start to self-sabotage. You could push people away. You could say mean things, hurtful things that you don't actually mean, to try and protect your own heart. So the more awareness you have around it, and the better clarity you get on what went wrong, what went well, and what you're looking for, and what you really need to do in your life while creating the action plan, leaning on your loved ones, trying new things, saying yes, forgiving yourself, and just experiencing the shock. All of this together compounds over time. And I know it's really difficult. I know it's super hard. It's not just like, hey, here's the steps, do it, guaranteed 100% it'll work right now in this amount of time. What I can promise is that these things are healthy for you, and they will absolutely help support your psychological safety and mental health through this journey of the breakup. But nothing is guaranteed in terms of the quality of your relationship, and it really determines what you put in and what you put out in the future. So you have to be so careful here and take it one day at a time. Treat yourself with grace and know that this stuff can and will help you if you apply it in the right ways. Be super careful, but also know that it's okay to not be okay. Breakups suck, and most of the times it's not this easy, amicable, hey, I'll see you later, just didn't work out. It's also not like this hateful, horrific, hey, I hate you, you're the worst person, worst thing that's ever happened to me ever. It doesn't have to be like that. And 2 or 3 things can exist at the same time. You can love someone, you can appreciate someone, but you could not be in love with them. You could also see them as not a future partner for you in terms of a marriage, in terms of you not seeing that person being a mother or father to your children. There's so many factors and nuances here. It's really hard to give a cookie cutter, this works for everyone in every single situation. But in general, these different steps will absolutely guide you through the breakup and help form a certain set of new lenses in which you can look at the world, and hopefully get you to a new, exciting place with your love and your life. Remember to take care of yourselves. Remember to take care of those around you. And for all things psychology to help you think, feel, and perform better, stay tuned right here on Psychology of Living.